Welcome to writing question number 1 of step 2. What we're going to do is we're going to take you step by step through everything that you learn in step 1. And I want to make sure that you master this. The first thing is to review the fact that the first thing you're going to do is read a 4-paragraph essay, and you're going to have 3 minutes to do that. I'm going to teach you exactly how to break that down. The next thing you're going to do is listen to a lecture that opposes it. I'm going to tell you how to listen to the keywords for the lecture, write them down, and get all the important information to get a high score. Then I'm going to show you exactly how to type out that essay so that you get all the information that's important on your paper, on your essay. You submit that, you get your good score. I'm going to show you how to do that in a step-by-step process that I hope is very, very clear. Now, let's get started. As you see, the first thing that we're going to understand is the reading. You know that you have a 4-paragraph essay that you're going to read. It's always 4. I've never seen it any different. You shouldn't expect it. You're going to get 3 minutes to analyze it, take notes on it before you hear the lecture. A very important 3 minutes, because if you analyze this correctly, clearly, get all the important pieces of information, the lecture is going to be very clear and easy. I hope that's clear. Now, the most important thing is, how do you break down this 4-paragraph essay that has about 280 words in 3 minutes? The first thing is to understand the structure. We know that the 4-paragraph essay has a title. Zoos, global warming, could be any major topic, anything specific even too. The first paragraph is going to provide the author's opinion about the title. It's good, it's bad, it's true, it's false, it's effective, it's not effective, something like that. Now, the next paragraphs, the next 3 are going to give reasons of support. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3 for why the author holds his opinion. If you remember step 1 carefully, or you remember step 1 well, you know that the introduction usually starts by telling you about the topic, giving you general information, and finishes with a sentence that states the author's opinion, the thesis, the answer, the opinion. That's the one that you focus on. So your job is to scan quickly, looking for that main sentence that you should expect to be the last one in the first paragraph, which gives you the opinion. The next paragraph gives you the first reason. And you know how we like to write. We like to state our opinion in the end and our reason right in the beginning. So the first sentence you read, you can expect to be the reason. Then you quickly scan the rest, looking for how that reason is supported. You do that for the remaining paragraphs. Now, if you followed step 1 carefully and looked at how I explained how to study, how to practice, you know that I told you that this 3 minutes you have to use effectively. And the way that you do that is by using 30 seconds to evaluate the introduction, which is the shortest and easiest paragraph to analyze. Then 50 seconds on each of the remaining paragraphs. So what I'm going to do in a little bit is I'm going to take all of this away and put on the board each paragraph with a timer that is either going to have 30 seconds or 50 seconds depending on the paragraph. So I'm going to show you exactly how fast you have to be, how you have to analyze, and really which sentences are the most important. Now, with that information, the only thing that I want to tell you is that this takes work and that this takes practice. And one important point that I also want to mention. This is a very clearly structured essay. Sometimes you get a harder question. You get a harder essay. It doesn't mean that the structure fails, it just means that they made it more difficult to understand. So the way that that works is, instead of giving the opinion in one sentence, or the reason in the first, they explain it in a few sentences. So instead of being able to easily identify one sentence as holding the reason, you have to break down, understand, and interpret 2 or 3. And they may be scattered, spread a little bit in the paragraph. That's a more difficult question. That's a more difficult paragraph. One should be prepared for that, but it's the same focus. It's the same idea. Just make sure you're looking for that key reason, and you'll use your time effectively. I hope that was clear, and we know what we're going to do next. So I'm going to move on, put on the board the first paragraph with the 30-second timer, followed by each remaining paragraph with the 50-second timer, and I'm going to underline what I need to take notes on. So let's go ahead and get started. Now you see that on the board we have the first paragraph with the title. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you take notes on the title. A 4-day work week, before you even really begin to analyze everything. Because you know that that's what the professor, what the author, are going to have opinions on. So you want to make sure to note that. Now let me go ahead, start the timer, read through this quickly, making sure that you know that I'm going to scan everything really fast, and then I'm going to focus on the last sentence because I'm looking for the opinion, and that's where I believe it's going to be. So let's go ahead and try that. How they work with these. So I analyzed this because of this transition word, this pronoun, I'm sorry. Numerous benefits to both businesses and employees and should be seriously considered. So that's what I take notes on. And you see that in 30 seconds it's not too hard. You saw me use the marker to take myself down the sentence. So that's how fast I was reading it. Nice, quick, and clean. So on my notes I should have 4-day work week, convert to a 10-hour day, 4-day work week, numerous benefits, employees, businesses, seriously consider. So those are the words that I need to write down to get the key and pieces of information that are going to guarantee my high score. Now let's put the next paragraph on the board. Now this is important because this is where we begin the heart of the essay. And this is, if we analyze correctly, the part of the essay that's really going to help us get a good score on the test, understand the lecture. Now, I know that the first sentence should have my reason. Why is a 10-hour a day, 4-day work week so good? I'm going to read that carefully, make sure I know why. Then in the remaining sentences, I'm going to understand how the author supports this. How does he explain this reason? What example does he give? Because that's the example that the lecture is going to attack or oppose or say doesn't matter. The professor is probably going to deal with that in some way. Not always, but usually. So understanding the reason, well, of course, let me know what the professor's going to say. He's going to say, this reason is wrong. So I know what he's going to attack. If I understand the idea behind the reason, what is the author doing to support himself? What example does he give? Then I know how the professor is going to attack it. Because he's going to say, this reason is not good. And it's not good because the example is wrong. The example is not true. So by knowing those two key points, I can really be prepared for the lecture. So let's go ahead and see that in action. I changed from 30 to 50 seconds to analyze this. I'm going to underline, read out loud, go quickly. Let's see how we do. First, the 4-day work week will alleviate considerable expenses for the employee. That's key. I write that down. Now, how does the author support this? Reach the national survey, 34 plus points, the long commutes to work. That's the idea. I did that pretty quickly scanning through it. This is the key piece of information, and this is how the author supports that key piece of information, which is the reason. Of course, underlining is a lot faster than writing it down. I understand that. But you see I had about 12 extra seconds, so you can really break through it quickly. So here's what I did. I identified the reason. Let me stop this real fast. I don't want you to be distracted at all. So, the opinion, alleviate considerable expenses for the average employee. How does the author support this? Well, I read this carefully, take notes on that, focus on that, then I scan quickly. How does the author support? He says, long commute. Commute means the distance you have to travel, the route, the path that you take to work. Gas is expensive, we all know that. Eliminate 1 day with a 4-day work week. You reduce expenses. If you don't pay for so much gas, the money saved, you can use it for other things. So, understanding this is ready to do well. Understanding this, taking a few notes on that, is going to do great. So let's go ahead and look at the second paragraph, do the same thing. Now, you see that we have the second paragraph on the board, and we're going to do the same thing. At the 50 seconds, what's the opinion? What's the reason for the opinion? How does the author support it? Let's get started. Reducing the lower operating costs of most businesses. I know the first sentence has the reason. I identify it, take my notes on it. Now, how is it going to reduce? How does the author support the reduction of costs for businesses? Employers want you to keep their business open an extra day. This will result in less money on business expenses. So this is a summary of the idea. All of this is summarized with save on operating expenses. Perfect. That's what I need to take notes on. Let me clear that. Now I know that analyzing, underlining is fast, but I'm doing it somewhat slowly. And in the end, remember, this is your goal. Step 1, identify the reason, the second reason. We did that quickly and carefully. You don't need 50 seconds to do that, and that's by far the most important thing. So, lower operating costs for businesses. How? You're not open an extra day, so you save on operating expenses, right? We get examples. No lighting, no air conditioning, and your employees have a lot of energy because they had a 3-day weekend. So they're going to come and work hard, be very efficient. Again, you get this piece of information, you're good. You get this piece of information, understand that, you're great. You're prepared to succeed. Let's do it again. For the fourth paragraph, the third reason. Now you see the third and the final paragraph. The fourth and the final paragraph with the third and final reason for the author's opinion. 50 seconds, you know what we're going to do. Let's break it down. Third 4-day work week will improve the ability of employees. Most important piece of information, third reason. Employees get more time with their families. Take notes on that. Now, how do they do that? Work. Parents don't spend time with their children. Reduced work week. Extra day with their children. Improved life. Work happier. So, I know there's a lot there, but essentially this is the key piece of information. I can eliminate this honestly. Leave this as the key. My 50 seconds are up. I erased that because it's not very important. It's repeated here. So let me repeat back what we should take notes on. First, the all-important reason number 3. Improve the ability of workers to spend time with their families. How? You have a shorter work week. You get an extra day with your children. You have a better life. You work happier. Of course, this is the key piece of information. Everything else supports that. So, we get this, we're good. We get this information, we're great, because we know exactly what the professor is going to do. He's going to attack each reason, and he's going to do that by attacking the support that the author provided in some way. If you know that, you're ready to do well. So now I'm going to take all of this out, and I'm going to put my example notes on the board. So exactly what should you have written down? Then we're going to listen to the lecture together, and you're going to see me take notes on that, and we'll keep going from there. So let's move on.